For 2.2.5a, we are looking at the characteristics from a graph, and it's the same for every time, slope, directionality, and then both of the intercepts. I like to start with directionality because I think it's the easiest. And so all you have to do for directionality is trace your line from left to right and see, are you going up or down? You can see my pen is going down, so my directionality is decreasing. If it was going straight across, like it was just flat, then you would say it has no directionality, or a zero slope would be helpful. Same thing for if it was vertical, you would say it has no directionality because it's not going up or down, and then that's an undefined slope, a vertical line. Speaking of slope, to count the slope, we want to choose 2 points, and this one kind of already has points drawn for me. And so I want to count my rise and my run to get from one to the other. So let's start at this point. I'm going to go up 2, so that's positive, and to the left 4, which is negative. So my slope is my rise 2 over negative 4. And I can divide both those by 2 to get negative 1/2. And that is my slope. Double check that these two things match, because if your slope is negative, your directionality should be decreasing. If your slope is positive, it should be increasing. So these two should correlate. Then our intercepts. So we got to make sure we write them as points, but my x-intercept is where I cross the x-axis. So you can see my line crosses the x-axis at 4, and my x-intercept is number, comma, 0, so 4, comma, 0. My y-intercept is where we cross the y-axis, which is at 2, but this is 0, comma, number, so 0, comma, 2. This next one, I'm not going to go through all of it, but just as kind of an additional example, this one is increasing because we are going up from left to right. And so that means my slope needs to be positive. And so this is why I like to double check this. Let's say when I counted my slope, I have this point and I have this one. And when I count my slope, I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, which is negative, and I go left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But let's say when I go to write that as a point, I just write it as negative 4 over 5, and I forget or I lose one of my negatives. Well, I know my line is increasing. This is going up, so I know it's increasing, so this doesn't make any sense. And so I can double check oh, actually it should be negative 4 over negative 5, and a negative divided by a negative is a positive 4/5. So positive 4/5 and increasing correlate. That makes sense. That's why it's helpful to double check that these match so that you don't make any mistakes with negatives. And then our x-intercept is negative 5, comma, 0, and our y-intercept is 0, comma, 4.